Our role as principal of the great Victor Scott Primary School acts as a representative of the Ministry of Education today, along with some outstanding pupils from her school, to those that are here due to the role that they played in the direct publication of this book, such as Ross Michael, the photographer responsible for the fantastic photos that can be seen in the book, noted Gumbay historian and champion of Bermuda's unique heritage and culture, Mr. Gary Phillips, OBE JP, who graciously wrote the foreword for the book, Mr. Vallejo Binns, captain of Gumbay Evolution Troop, and Mr. Robert Wilson, senior member of the Gumbay Evolution Troop, which was the Gumbay Troop featured in the book, members of the media, and of course, the Bermuda public. I stand here close to 200 years from the point at which it was said by way of a report in the Royal Gazette that a reward was being offered for the return of 2 slaves by the name of Ajax and Mentor, who had run off with the Gumbay. The report labeled the Gumbay as idolatrous, a clamorous puppet show, and deserving of being suppressed, as, in the words of the report, only the worst and most ignorant Negroes followed such processions. Now in 2024, as was witnessed so clearly by last Friday's May 24th Bermuda Day activities, but also by the annual much anticipated and celebrated Gumbay Festival, by the regular feature of the Gumbay at one of our regular signature tourist events, the Harbor Nights, Bermuda Harbor Nights, and even the moniker of Bermuda's national football team being given as the Gumbay Warriors. The Gumbay has now clearly and deservedly fully stepped into the limelight as the pinnacle symbol of our unique heritage as a people, especially those of African descent and lineage. I must remind everyone that the Gumbay is not a dance and masquerade tradition unique only to Bermuda. Although, of course, the Bermuda Gumbay is unique in its particular expression within the Afro-Caribbean diaspora. Rather than being a mark against the Gumbay, it is with this realization that a tremendous appreciation of why the people of Bermuda, particularly those of African descent and lineage, must do all they can to champion and preserve the unique cultural art form that we call the Gumbay at all costs, as it is one of the very, very few remnants we have that connect us as a people to a complex past emanating out of the west coast of the African continent. One that is, of course, rich with greatness beyond the obvious tragedies of slavery. It is to this end that this book was produced, to help to inculcate in our youth the true history and meaning of the Gumbay, in hopes that they can act as a buffer against the inevitable cultural erosion that threatens all ancient traditions over time, especially those of commercialism and tokenism. There is also an abundance of evidence linking the connection between early literacy to positive individual and community development factors such as academic success rates, social mobility, and long-term family outcomes. So it's to this end that I'm so thankful for the support of those mentioned earlier who helped directly make the book possible, as well as to Dr. Brown, Hugh Brown, and the Bermuda Healthcare Services and the Brown Darrow Clinic, who are also represented here today, for a generous corporate sponsorship that will allow free copies of the book to be provided to all children in Year 5 across both public and private schools. To close, those who know me are aware that I am an active Gumbay researcher, including extending my research beyond Bermuda onto the west coast of the African continent, where many of our ancestors originated from. The connection between our Gumbay and the masquerade tradition still in existence today in places like Nigeria, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Liberia, and many more is very, very clear. So much so that even words we associate with our local Gumbay are found still in use amongst our brothers and sisters there. So I end with this. Ayo, please let us do our part to keep the culture alive. Okay? We're going to hear from Ms. Smith, the principal of Victor Scott.
Thank you, Dr. Chapman. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you today to accept and acknowledge the generous donation of the book Gumbay, The Way of the Warrior, as part, on behalf of the Ministry of Education, Victor Scott School, and all of the Primary 5 students across the island. This donation is as a result of Dr. David Chapman and the work that he has done. This donation signifies much more than just an addition of a book to our library. It is an investment in the cultural, intellectual, and personal development of our young minds. Gumbay, The Way of the Warrior, is not just a book. It is a celebration of our rich cultural heritage and a beacon of our historical narrative. The Gumbay tradition, with its vibrant dances, striking costumes, and powerful stories, is a cornerstone of our cultural identity. This book encapsulates the essence of the Gumbay spirit, portraying it not merely as an art form, but as a way of life embodying the virtues of resilience, courage, and unity. For our students at Victor Scott School and across the island, this book will serve as a window into the profound legacy of the Gumbay warriors. It will allow them to explore the depths of their own heritage, fostering a sense of pride and belonging. Understanding where we come from is crucial in shaping where we are going. And Gumbay, The Way of the Warrior, provides a meaningful connection to our past, enabling our students to draw inspirations for their futures. Moreover, the lessons embedded within the Gumbay tradition, as depicted in this book, are timeless and universal. They teach us about the power of community, the importance of perseverance, and the beauty of our cultural expression. These are lessons that resonate with our core values here at Victor Scott School. As educators, it is our mission to ensure that education extends beyond the classroom. We strive to nurture well-rounded individuals who are aware, empathetic, and culturally grounded. This book will be an invaluable tool in achieving this mission. I would like to take this moment to acknowledge the work of Dr. David Chapman and those who took part in making this book come to life. Your dedication to preserving and sharing our cultural heritage is truly commendable. Through your work, you have ensured that the spirit of the Gumbay will continue to inspire and educate future generations. To our students, I encourage you to delve into this book with curiosity and reverence. Let it be a source of inspiration and knowledge. Allow the stories and images to connect with your heritage and remind you of the strength and beauty that lies within your own identity. In closing, on behalf of the Ministry of Education and the Victor Scott School students and all those Primary 5 students across the island, both public and private, I extend our deepest appreciation for this thoughtful and impactful donation. We are committed to making the most of this resource, ensuring that it enriches the educational journey of every student through our doors. Thank you.
I'm hoping that Mr. Phillips will say just a few brief words because he has something else to do. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chapman. I am reminded that as a child, I was perhaps one of the luckiest little boys in the world because my family was associated with the Gumbay movement. There was the resurgence of the Gumbay movement, I should say, at the turn of the last century. The Norfolk crowd, my family came from St. Kitts. And I was always told that you come that the black experience here in Bermuda did not start with slavery, and that we come from kings and queens, artisans, positive influences on our lives. And so for me as a young man, I enjoyed the Gombeys. But I have to confess that I didn't really get to know about the Gombeys until my wife said to me one day, "Tell me more about the Gombeys." And I couldn't answer the question really sincerely. And so she set about doing some history of the Gombeys. And we together began to study the Gombeys as not just an amusement, not just for entertainment, but for its intrinsic historical cultural values. The thing that impresses me so much about the Gombeys is that there's a discipline, there's a rigor about how they perform and how faithful they are to their forefathers. I was delighted when Dr. Chapman invited me to do the foreword, because my father, he joined the Gombeys at the age of 5. Why they didn't allow me to join the Gombeys, I will never understand. But here I am today, carrying the flag for the Gumbay movement. And I thank Dr. Chapman for his vision in bringing this to the fore. This is a moment in history which we will never, ever forget. Thank you very much.
Would you say a few words on behalf of the, yes, please. Bermuda Healthcare Services.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting us to this event. Corporate law sponsorship plays a crucial role in nurturing literacy in Bermuda. We have a rich cultural heritage, but face significant challenges with early literacy. We're partnering with business, non-profit organizations, educational institutions, and individuals seeking to remedy this can receive the financial support needed to enhance early literacy programs and promote a culture of reading and learning in our community, starting at an early age. I can't emphasize more on this, being a mother of 2 young children. BHCS is pleased to sponsor Dr. Chapman in his endeavors to record the significant impact of Gombe culture that has played in the history of Bermuda, the environmental impact, and cultural possibility. The Gombe story is universally empowering as it spans over several generations, and this book will be of interest to all age groups, providing opportunities to close the generation gap by highlighting a commonality that can spark meaningful conversation within the families and the community in the hope of improving relationships. Once again, I thank Dr. Chapman for this opportunity and wish him a successful law. Have a blessed year all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay. Is it? Okay. All right. Thank you. You can take some more photos.